Hello guys, welcome to Codecrafters, and in this video we are going to actually learn a HackerRank problem, that's Java Loops 2. So we already completed Java Loops 1 problem. Now we are going to get into this problem. So this is kind of a bit a tricky one, but if you understand the logic and the trick to solve this problem, it's a very easiest one. So you just need to understand the logic and the problem statement. So now we are actually given a sequence, and this sequence will be repeated. Okay, you have to input three integers. One is for a, another one for b, and other is n, and one more integer, that's q. So let's say q is like limit, you like how many sequence you want, that's q. Okay, and then for each query, that's for q, you have to print the series. So this series will be repeated, that's q. Like say this line, a plus 2 to the power 0 into b, a plus 2 to the power 0 plus into b plus 2 to the power 1 into b. So this line, the number of lines you want the series to be repeated is q, and in every q there will be a different a, b and n. Okay, so like look at this input format. This q is the number of query lines, the number of series you want to get repeated, and this will be a, b and n. The 0 is a and b is 2 and 10 is the n. Okay, the same thing here. 5 is a, 3 is b, and again 5 is the n. So now we have given output also, but suddenly when you look at this output, you won't be able to understand. You have to understand the sequence or the series to understand how this output came. So let's look at the sequence. Here first we are actually taking a, and in our first input our a value is 0, right? So yeah, 0. 0 plus 2 to the power 0. What's 2 to the power 0? It's 1, right? Into b. B, what's the value of b here? It's 2. So what will you get the answer? 0 into 1 plus b. It's just 0 into 1 plus 2. Sorry, 0 plus 1 into 2. What's the answer? You'll get 2, right? So for the first, this section, you will get the answer 2. Let's go to the second section. The second section, we are taking the answer of this first one. It's again repeated. So let's say we already know the answer, that's 2. And then we are actually incrementing the value of power. 2 to the power 1 into b. What's 2 to the power 1? It's 2, right? So 2 into our b values, again same, it's 2. 2 into 2 is 4. So we already know the value of this section, that's 2. And here 2 to the power 1 into b will be 4. Right? 2 into 2, that's 4. So 4 plus 2, 6. So you'll get this from this section, you'll get 6. So likewise, this will be repeated until n minus 1. In our case, n is 10. So up to 2 to the power 9, this series will be repeated. And you have to just keep on incrementing it, right? So that's how we get the answer here, or the output here. So let's get to the problem statement and the solution part. I'll code it out and also explain side by side. If you're having any doubts, you can just reach out in the comment section. So if you want, you can just erase all this code and write your own code here. Let's better do that. I guess just explain the right way. So in our program, we have actually created an object of the scanner class, and now our first task is to input q. That is the number of series lines you need in the program, right? So let's say like int q is equal to in dot next int. So now we have inputted q. Okay, what do we need next? Denoting the number of queries. Okay, each line I of the q subsequent lines contains 3 spaced integers describing the respective ai, bi and ni values for that query. So now we need 3 spaced integers. Right, in Python we can just input all these in one line, but in Java if you need a 3 spaced integers, and we'll be need to have a for loop for it. So let's just create a for loop first. For int I is equal to 0. So up to the limit of q we need, right? So I lesser than q and then I plus plus. Now we are going to input three integers. So int a is equal to int dot next int b is equal to int dot next int, and int n is equal to int dot next int. You can use any variables, but I am just using this a, b and n because you'll be able to understand the problem statement along with this. So now what will you do? We inputted q, that's the number of queries we need, this line, the number of lines we need the series to be repeated, and then we have inputted three integers a, b and n. So when you run the program, the input will be like this. First a q will be inputted, and then a 3 space integers will be inputted because it's all inside the for loop, right? Now after this, we need to create this sequence, right? So for that, let's create another for loop. Why do we need another for loop? We have to create the sequence up to n minus 1. So in that for loop, instead of q, we will give the ending condition as n. Okay. So for int, I also suggest you to do something. Before you watch this video, try solving this problem on your own. And then if you can't solve it, or if you can't understand the solution part, you can just come and watch this video and then try to understand, and then close this video, go back to HackerRank and solve the problem. So that's how you learn, instead of just having the video on the sidewise and just typing it out. Yeah, so we have to just create a variable named j equal to 0, and this j ending condition will be n because we need the sequence to be repeated up to n minus 1, right? So j less than n, j plus plus. Now after this, what do we need? We need also the power of every numbers, that is from 2 to the power 0 to 2 to the power 10 minus 1, that is 2 to the power 9. We need the value of these things. And in Java, to calculate the power, you have a function named math.pow. So you can just calculate the power using that. You don't need to import any classes for it. You can just call the function. So let's create a variable, and this math.pow will be in the variable like data type of double. So when you're creating the variable, create a variable with the double data type and then convert it into integer, like the normal typecasting thing. You have learned two types of typecasting in Java, so just use that logic and convert it to integer, from double to integer. Okay, that is from a large data type to smaller data type. You know how it happens in Java. So let's just create a variable of the double data type, double, let's say, so already created so many variables, let's say v. Okay, so v will actually store the power of, like power digits of every 2 to the power 0 to 2 to the power 9 values will be stored in this v. So let's say double v is equal to 0, and then inside it, let's just store v is equal to math.pow. Inside this, there will be two arguments. One is the base and other one is the exponent. So in our case, this base is kind of fixed. We don't need to increment it or anything. So let's just say 2 is the base and our exponent will be incrementing, right? So in our case, what's the exponent here? J is the exponent because J will be incrementing from 0 to 9 because we gave the condition as ending condition as n. So J will be incrementing from 0 to 9. Yeah. So in our v variable, we have stored the power of 2 to the power 0 to 2 to the power 9. Okay, it will be using in every sequence actually, not like at one single time it will be storing all the power of everything. So when the loop first iterates, this j is equal to 0. So here we will have math.pow 2 to the power 0. So that we will be stored, and then we'll be using that v for using solving the sequence and everything. So yeah, now we've got the power. Now, don't you think this v is in the double data type? You have to consider changing it into integer data type. So let's do that first. So to do that, you'll be using the typecasting method in Java, right? So let's create a variable for integer in p. And now we are going to convert this double v into int. You can just convert it like this. So this way you have converted this double. Whatever the value you get stored in this v will be converted into integer part. So in our first case, our value will be 2 to the power 0. That's 1. and it will be like in a double format 1.0. When you convert it to integer format, it will just become 1 again. Okay, now let's create using this p in the sequence part. In our sequence, our first section is to print a plus 2 to the power 0 into b. Now we already have the value of 2 to the power 0, right? So let's do one more thing. Here, let's create a variable int. Okay, we have a, b, or let's say c. C is equal to a. So first, for the initial value of c, we are going to store a as the answer or a as the value. Then after this, we are just going to keep incrementing the c and using the formula. Let's say c is equal to c plus, what do we need? We need the power, right? So in our case, the power is stored in which variable? P. Let's do it in bracket. Into, and what's the next condition? B. What happens here? Okay, I'll also do one thing. System.out.println C space. You just end the semicolon. System.out.println, just simple printing statement. So now let's just try to iterate this entire thing. So first we are inputting 3 space integers, that's all clear. And what are we doing next? We are just assigning the variable like value of variable a to c, right? In our case, a is 0. And that differs from each input case. First case, the a is 0. In second case, the a is 5. So it doesn't matter. Okay. Now, let's go to the first loop, inside inner loop. J is equal to 0. Then 0 lesser than 10, j plus plus. Okay. So first, j is equal to 0. Now, our value for j is 0. And we are coming here. V is equal to math.po 2j. So here, 2, 1. Right? So 2 to the, 2, 0. I'm really sorry. 2, 0. That means your answer is 1. And now the p-value is 1. What happens in C? C is 0, right? So 0 plus, you have given a bracket, and our p-value is 1 into b-value is 2. What is the answer you get? You get the answer 2. You're printing that 2, and you're actually having a space now. Next, we are again going to the inner loop. Because the condition is not yet completed, we have to iterate till the end, right? So we are again going to the inner loop. Now, j will become what? J plus plus, right? So j will become 1. So in our case, j is 1 now. Let's say here, j is equal to 1. And here, in this, j will become 2 to the power 1. So what's 2 to the power 1? It's 2. Right? And then our p is now 2. Okay. Now, our c value from the last iteration, the value was 2, right? So now, this c will also have the value as 2. Let's say 2 plus, here our p is 2 into 2 is equal to, so 2 plus 2 into 2 is 4. So what's 4 plus 2? 6. Now, we already have 2 here from the first iteration, and then after a space, our second number will come. Again, let's go to the iteration part. So now again j plus plus, right? So j equal to 2. So v is equal to math.po 2 of j, and here j will be 2, not 1. So 2 to the power 2 is, you know the answer, that's 4. Okay, so again p is 4 here. Now, from the last iteration, our c value was 6, right? So you're just going to have 6 plus 4 into 2. So what's 6 plus 4 into 2? 6 plus 4 into 2 is 8. So 6 plus 8 is 14. So after space, your answer 14 will be print. So like this, same way, this loop will be iterating till j is equal to 9 because it should be lesser than n. Our n value is 10, so up to j is equal to 9. It keeps repeating and at last you get the sequence according to the question here. I hope this is clear. I mean it. This is kind of a tricky thing, and if you understand, it's really pretty good. So if you have any doubts, do reach out in the comments. Let's just try running the program. Okay. Yeah, I am printing it in every single line, so you can just avoid this print ln. Yes, your sample test case is solved, and sample test case 1 is also solved. Look, you can actually, like when you're trying to practice this problem, you can try iterating using this input integers in your rough book or something. And let's submit the code for testing it out for other test cases. Yes, everything is solved. I hope this video is clear. Thank you. Okay. Woohoo.